Okay, we're recording. So, this, friends, is my friend Megan Harris, and she is going to just talk to us a little bit tonight about her journey and what she has been doing. So, first off, let's start with your story, like why you joined the first time around, when you joined. Just give us the whole shenanigans there.
Okay. So I joined, it's been about a year and a half. It was September 28th of 2015. And I started out, I thought it works, like the entire thing was a scam. I thought network marketing was a scam. Like I never imagined myself doing something like that, like ever. And anyways, I saw my enroller, Dee. I worked with her at Bank of America, and I was friends with her on Facebook, and probably around August, I saw her start posting on like Facebook and Instagram and things. And I was like so annoyed by her posts and was like, this girl is always posting. Like, I don't even know what this like thing is about, but I was like annoyed, and I was like, she doesn't even know this whole thing is a scam. Like I was completely convinced. So Jason and I had just kind of moved on our own. We were living in our own apartment and like really experiencing like adulthood for the first time. And Jason was going to school full time, and he was only working like 15 to 20 hours a week if we were lucky. And so my full-time job was supporting the both of us. And I don't have a college degree. Like I am definitely was not making the big bucks. So it was really, really difficult. And finally, I was just like, I have to do something else. So I would get home from my 9 to 5 job, and I would start searching jobs like on Indeed and Craigslist. And I was spending hours every night like searching for a part-time job. And finally, I came to the realization like this is like exhausting me doing this. Like I'm already dreading like going home at night looking for a job. How am I going to work a part-time job after like I'm working a full-time job? And I was like, that's never going to happen. I'm going to be completely miserable. So I kind of started opening up to some other ideas. And then I just happened to come across one of Dee's her annoying Facebook posts, and was like, okay, why don't I just message her and see what it's about? Like, I know it's a scam, but like, I'll just send her a message. So I started talking to her, and still, I wasn't completely convinced, but I thought, well, maybe I'll try some of the products. Like I'd tried a wrap, but it had been a really long time. And I was like, maybe I'll try some of the products and like see if they even work. And then a couple days later, I don't even know how we got on the subject, but Tasha, who was Dee's enroller, I worked with her at the bank as well. And she had just gone on or was going to be going on the first ever It Works cruise. And I think that was kind of my turning point, because she had gotten a $10,000 bonus for going diamond, and she was going on this cruise. And I was like, okay, these aren't like made up people that like nobody's ever even heard of. Like I work at the same company as her. This has to be real. She wouldn't like, she's just from like a small town in Maine. Like it's not like she's this person who lives out in LA or something that like knows a ton of people. I love Tasha, but she's nothing special. She's just a normal person. And so I think that's kind of when I started thinking like, okay, this is real. Like people are actually making this money. And I signed up that night. And from there, I was very successful in the beginning. I would say like I signed my first 4 customers in 2 days, but it was all my warm market. And so my family wasn't super supportive, but my mom would like run an auto ship every month, and Jason's parents would help us, but I didn't have a lot of friends. And I think once I got past that warm market, I just stopped.
Yep. So you took off running in the beginning, right? And then you hit a wall because you just felt like you ran out of people, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think I was also, I use every excuse in the book, but the main excuse, Dee, my enroller, quit like 2 weeks after I signed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty quick. So I was just like, well, I don't even have an enroller. So, I mean, I can't do this. And I was still working, or I still could have worked my warm market. I didn't end up figuring that out until a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the beginning, it's like I sold my 4 customers, or did my first 4 customers. And then from there, I just let excuses get in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. You got in your own way, and that's just what happened. So you joined, you signed your 4 customers, let the excuses get in the way, and then you just stopped. So from what period of time did, when you stopped to then all of a sudden you decided it was time to jump back in?
So I would say, I mean, because I've only been in, like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, something like that. It hasn't been very long. It was about a year and a half, because that was, so I would say I was probably
how long did you actually work in the beginning? Like, how long did you?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I think it was maybe a month or 2. I mean, I would go. It's not like I stopped working completely. Like, if I could sign like 1 customer a month, like, I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a casual thing. I wasn't working. It was just, if people came to me, then yeah, I'd sign them up. And like, we had like the team events and things that you would run, and like I would go to those. But I can't call it working. What I was doing.
All in at that point. You were just dabbling, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then literally, I mean, it was whatever, 3.5 weeks ago, like
it was about 3 weeks ago. You decided it was like.
Yeah. I think and I like look back at myself and like laugh now, because I remember sitting in my car after work one day, and my job has just become not what I thought it was going to be at all. And I've been with the same company for a year and a half now, and I'm just so done working for someone else, and I'm planning my wedding and thinking about the fact that I'm going to have to take I have 2 weeks of vacation every year. A week of that's for my honeymoon. I'm getting married on a Friday. That's a vacation day. I'm going to have to take between now and then probably a few more vacation days for conference. And it's just like, okay, so what? I'm not going to have another day off for the rest of the year. And it's like that kind of stuff. I think I was just so done working for someone else, and I want to have freedom of time. And Jason just graduated school and has like $50,000 worth of student loan debt. And I think we just have, and we've always talked about having this bigger picture of, you know, we're going to travel and we're going to do this and we're going to build our own house, and I'm going to be able to stay home when I decide to have kids and all of that. And I know that as of right now, that wouldn't happen. And so I think I like found myself, like I said, I was sitting in my car outside of work one day, like just mentally exhausted from the day, praying for something else to come along. And then I realized on my way home, I was just really thinking about it, and I was like, you know, do I need a second job? Like, what do I have to do to like dig us out of this like mess that I feel like we're in? And then it kind of just hit me like a semi truck. I have this tool in my pocket, and I have for a year and a half that I haven't taken advantage of. And I have seen you, and I've seen, you know, all of these amazing people on our team be successful. And when I look at you, I know that you're from Maine. Like, it's not like you're from some big town or doing anything, you know, crazy out of the ordinary. You're just a normal person. And I think that's when I finally said, I'm going to get out of my own head. I can do this. Like, if all of these other people can do this, like, I can do this. And I think from there, I just finally decided, like, I have to make this work and for us to be able to have the life that we want.
Yep. And I remember in the beginning of January, is this when the same time for, or not the beginning of January, the beginning of December, you messaged me and you were like, okay, I need to do this. Is that the same time frame that all that just happened?
So I had been thinking about it because in the beginning of December, when I messaged you and I was like, you know, I need to make this happen, I had been thinking about it. And I think that was around the time where I was like, okay, I need to do something. But at that point, I still wasn't all in.
Yeah.
And like, I got sick and I didn't exactly know what was going on with me. And I used that as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
And you would continue to message me. And it was when you sent me a message, I was almost ashamed because I was like, I know she's checking in on me because she knows that I can do this. And I don't know that I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think all of that had I had just pushed it to the back of my brain because I didn't want to feel, ashamed of myself. And then I think that ended up fueling my fire later on because I was just like, I knew that with the support of like you and the rest of the team and all of that, if I did have bad days, I know I'm going to have bad days. I've had bad days since I've been all in. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that as long as I know that I can do it and you guys know that I can do it, then it's going to happen.
Right. And so now 3 weeks ago, you woke up one day and you said, I'm doing this. I'm all in. Let's go. And what has happened from that day to now?
So I think originally, I actually remember messaging you on Facebook that night because I was cooking dinner. And that's when I decided I was all in, going to do everything that I could to make this work. And from there, I got to work immediately. That night, I started getting back on all the team pages, really catching up because I felt like, I had been off of them for so long. I was like, okay, is the name of the company even the same at this point? I'm so lost. So I was really just catching up on all of that, catching up on the products. I didn't know a whole lot of the essential oils because those kind of came out as I was out. Mm. And so catching up on all of that. And then that was probably, I did all of that I just said in probably about 30 minutes. And then I was like, okay, I'm starting to work. And I started adding people on Facebook and I started getting posts together. And one of the things that I'd never done before and I was always terrified of, I've even messaged Courtney about this because I was like, okay, Courtney's shy. I know that I'm never going to be able to blitz someone. So I was asking her almost as I was hoping in my heart that she was going to be like, oh yeah, I don't blitz anyone. I made it this far without talking to anybody about the business so that I could use that as an excuse. Right. And I started talking to people and I decided I'm probably going to sound stupid several times, but eventually I'm going to sound like I know my stuff. So I just got to practice and sound stupid for a while. Yeah. And I was terrified to go live on Facebook, mm-hmm. And I did my first live video and I decided I had always kind of been nervous about posting on Facebook because my family and my friends have always been very judgmental towards this business. And I know that. And so I think I kind of hid behind that also in the past. And I was just like, I don't care anymore. They don't pay my bills. I don't care what they think. Unfriend me if you don't want to see it. And I was just like, I'm going to do this because someone out there needs this as bad as I do. Mm-hmm. And I think I just pushed every excuse that I had ever used to the side and just started talking to everybody. I was adding, in 2 weeks, I grew my Facebook friends by 2,000 people. I had been adding on Instagram. Every single night I was spending hours working this business. I would come home, get home at 5:30, and I wouldn't go to bed until 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I would wake up 2 hours early before I had to go to work so that I could work again. And it wasn't, I still don't feel like it's a chore or anything like that. I want to get up and work because I know I can already see the momentum building and I know that it's just going to keep going. And the harder I work, the quicker it's going to come. Mm-hmm. And now my goal, like I've shared with you, is to not come back to work after my wedding. I get married April 21st and we've talked, I need to be triple by then in order to do that. So the only way I'm going to do that is to work my butt off and get there. Mm-hmm. And so I wish I had some like magical thing that I could say that I've been doing, but I've literally been talking to people, and I was really inconsistent about posting before. And now I post every single day, several times a day. I've been trying to go live several times a week. My goal originally was 3 times a week, and I've like blown that out of the water with my poor Facebook friends. So I try, I mean, there's been days where I've gone live several times in a row. Like anytime I think of something that I could potentially share, like I'm on Facebook Live, because I feel like it's so much more personal. And I think I knew that it was going to be hard because I've already exhausted my warm market, that I was going to have to expand outside of that. And so I've just been brainstorming any possible way I could do that. I just met Karen Brown at an event last week because I've never done an event, and I wanted to see how she did it, because I'm going to start doing events in my town. And then, yeah, I mean.
And now you've been all in for 3 weeks or so, and you're charting Emerald, and you have signed countless customers. I look at your posts sometimes and you have like 100 comments on these posts, and I'm like, how is this girl doing this? I have no idea. And then one of the messages actually that you just sent me tonight, I want you to just share a little bit about that story, and then we can kind of wrap this up. But you messaged me saying you can't believe in this short of time how much you have changed, because you used to be a negative person. So just tell us a little bit about that.
So I think, and I actually, right before we got started, I'll kind of show you what I was doing. So I do this every night now. So I'm not a super religious person. I don't go to church, but I think anybody can do this no matter what your beliefs are. But I got this at TJ Maxx a long time ago, and it's like 365 Bible verses.
Nice.
And there's one every single day. And I do one of those, and then I got this Instant Happy Journal. It's the same. It's just kind of like, it gives you like ideas to write about every day. But what I use those for is to take time to every day. Sometimes it's at 11:30 at night when I'm like in the middle of messaging people, but I take just a couple minutes to write in those, and just to kind of relax and take that time for me, because this can be exhausting. I mean, when I'm only getting 4 hours of sleep at most, it's exhausting sometimes. And in order to not get burnt out, I've been doing that. And I think that has helped a lot, just taking that time. But I think the majority of it is the support from the team, and knowing that if I have a single question, like I can go to any team page. I have Tracy, who is she was under Tasha, Dee's enroller, and she's like my accountability partner now, and we chat every week and just kind of like see how each other's doing, or if we have any tips that we can share of like what's working for us that week. And I think all of that has just kind of put me in a different state of mind. But I also, when looking at what I'm trying to build for Jason and I and for our future family, like I have just completely blocked out anything negative in my life. Like if it is going to be negative, it's a waste of time. I am working this business so hard that I don't have time for negativity. And if you're going to be negative or, say anything that could potentially even be negative, like I will walk away from you. I do not have time. And I think, like I was telling you, I had a potential distributor message me, and she was just really being down. And normally I probably would not have responded to her. And like in the past, I would have just probably blown it off and not thought anything about it. But, and you brought this to my attention, that was me a year and a half ago. And someone like that, I mean, I have no idea what she's going through, but if she needs this business, she's obviously going through something. And so I think just putting myself in that position of just sharing positivity and not just being like, oh yeah, you're probably not going to sign anybody at first, but like eventually I guess you probably will. Like, I mean, I could have like gone into her negativity, but I wasn't going to. I was like, no, you're going to be a rock star at this. Like, it's fine. We have a ton of training of how you're going to like reach out to all of these people. And like, I can't wait to see your business boom, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And as long as she believes that and she knows that, then that's what's going to happen. So I think I've just kind of gotten in a completely different mindset because I just don't have time for it anymore. I've blocked it completely out.
So awesome. So awesome. Okay, so your goal, triple by April, right?
Triple by April.
And what's your goal for the end of the year?
For the end of the year, if I go triple by April, let's see. So I went all in January. I'm going ambassador.
Yeah.
By December 2017.
Yes. It's totally going to happen. Did that just freak you out saying that?
Yeah. Because I was like, well, I can't say presidential because if I'm going triple by April, like I'm going to go ambassador by December. That's so crazy.
The way you're working and the momentum that you have right now, it's absolutely going to happen. So thank you, friend, for doing this with us, because I think it's going to be amazing for the team to hear. And I am just super excited for you because you're blowing it out of the water for real. It's amazing.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you, dear.
All right.